Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Developing the Leader Within. I'm Enrique Acosta Gonzalez, your host. And today I got Jimmy Cox with me, my brother, my veteran brother from the Army. And he is doing his own thing. And that's what I love to hear. He's the CEO and founder of Military Fresh Network and the MFN Consulting Group. Jimmy, thank you for being with us today. And you're doing some great stuff, brother.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing great, doing great. You see, I got your gear, brother.
I like it.
I got the flash, man. Let me tell you a little bit about this thing for folks that are listening. I put some apple juice in there. You wouldn't think so much. This thing was crispy hours later. So if you ain't got a flash, you're missing out. And we're gonna share some of that stuff at the end of the show, so you can get you some merch from my boy here. But Jimmy, this show focuses on leadership. I've followed you since I saw you at Mick Orlando,
Yes.
and I heard about your brand and what you was doing, Military Fresh Network, and I was like, that's it. I'm loving what he's doing. Tell us a little bit about you and what you're up to.
All right. Thank you. My name is Jimmy Cox, the founder and CEO, of course, of Military Fresh Network, Military Fresh Fitness, and the whole MFN entire portfolio. MFN Consulting Group. I'm retired Army. Spent 23 years active duty in the Army. I've been retired for about 10 years now, and I've been working really as a third shift entrepreneur with the Military Fresh Network, but I work full time for the Department of Defense during the day. So that's in a nutshell, a little bit about Jimmy Cox.
So I tell you, thank you for sharing that. Folks, for you that do not know what third shift entrepreneur is, that is your own time. You do it on your own time, nights, weekends, and whenever you got a break. So congratulations, Jimmy, on that endeavor. I know that you're putting in the effort, and you're going to reap the rewards. So earlier on, we were talking about, what we're going to discuss, and leadership is what we do here. And so we're going to combine leadership and entrepreneurship, so that you guys that are listening will get a real live picture of what it is to put in this type of effort to this kind of work. It will require every ounce of your thoughts, every ounce of your efforts, every ounce of any energy that you got. So you have to do it wisely. And so, Jimmy, you say you're in the Army, you're about to retire, and a lot of people who listen to this podcast sometimes come from the transition standpoint, from their military career. How did this come about? I mean, how did MFN get birthed in your mind for you to say, you know what, I'm gonna throw some effort into this?
All right, and good question. So, I get that question a lot, and I always go to the same answer. And I really say this without a blink of an eye. All right, it was a vision given to me by God. I really believe that in my heart of hearts and to the pit of my soul. All right. Of course, I spent 23 years in the Army, of course, but 13 of those 23 years, I served as an Army recruiter. Right. So I spent 13 years of my life since the age of 26 to, influence people to recommend, support, or consider the Army as a career choice. And not only that, influencing people on the outside looking in, what the Army was like. At the same time, convincing, soldiers that are now on recruiting duty that sometimes hated it to, go out there and not be afraid to speak to a complete stranger and let them know, what the Army has done for them and what the Army, can do for that individual if they decided to, enlist or serve for, a period of time. So it kind of started with that. And I did 13 years of that. And then it comes to time to retire. And I retired in 2010. Had a short break from the marketing recruiting side. I did like human resources for the Army. But within 18 months later of retiring from Army recruiting, I was fortunate enough and blessed enough to work for the national level marketing for the Army. So all the national level campaigns, recruiting efforts, you know, billboards, radio spots, TV commercials, all of the shooting of the film and commercials in Hollywood. I was able to do that and fortunate enough to do that for a period of 8 years. So within that time, working with, you know, like marketing agencies, right? Well-known marketing agencies, and being a recruiter for 13 years and actually wearing the uniform for 23 years, you know, you go to a marketing agency and you hear, you know, young creatives, marketers that never serve, you know, kind of give you advice on how to make someone say yes to the Army. So I felt like there was a lot of, you know, marks that were missed. And I felt that, you know what, I wanted to create something because I said, hey, we go out there and we shoot commercials and we do marketing, and a lot of everything is scripted. There's no way around it. You go to get what branch of service did you serve in, Enrique?
I was Navy.
Navy recruiting, Marines, Air Force, what have you. There's all RPIs, recruiting publication items, or promotional items, right? They're going through public affairs. They're all scripted. They're there like to make sure that you're saying the right thing to make someone intrigued to find out more. But then you go to the commercials, and then you sometimes see commercials that aren't even sailors or real Army people. They're actors, and they're following a written script. So I felt in my heart of hearts that, you know what, we need to have something that's organic, to tell real stories of real people that wear the uniform, that isn't scripted and is organic, where people, it's more believable. So hence comes the word, fresh, right? And then the whole fresh concept of being new and improved, and I'll stop there to kind of like package it all up together. So I just don't go on and on and on. But anyway, that's what kind of led me to create this organic platform to highlight and elevate the stories of those who serve. So that's kind of where it came from.
I tell you, you're talking and I'm thinking about all the commercials that I turn around and look at my wife and say, that is not a military person.
Yeah.
Because their blouse is all messed up. They got the ranks wrong.
Yeah.
They got officer rank and enlisted rank.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's wrong with this commercial? Yeah. You can't believe this. And so I get what you're talking about. It's sort of like the story of the movies that you get a person from the military to kind of consult, and then they end up playing the role, right?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. You need that tangible, real life experience to make people believe it, because that's really where it's at. So good on you for having that thought and allowing your expertise and your background to set the stage for your future. Because folks, if you're listening, you're wondering, man, how can I make this transition? How can I make this thing really work? You got to be you. You got to be you. You can't be somebody else. You got to be you. You got to take your experience. You got to know how to package it up and make it work for whatever it is, the purpose that you have going. Absolutely. So you get out, and now you're looking at working, because you say you work full time. Everybody's got to make the ends meet, right? So you got to do that somehow, unless you had some type of, resources to just go head on. But you did it the wise way, right? You work in a job, and you're doing this third shift entrepreneur, and that's not easy. So tell me a little bit about that journey.
So with that, when I started it 21 September 2015, and it started as an Instagram page, just to kind of get the buzz out there and see how people respond to it. And didn't want anything flashy. If you notice that we have simple black letters, we don't have a fancy logo. And then it kind of transitioned into the 4-color block, and the 4-color block represents the 4 DoD branches. And of course, people ask me, what about the Coast Guard? So we represent the Coast Guard, under the overarching Military Fresh Network. And now they even ask about the Space Force. So, Space Force is the Department of the Air Force. So we represent the Space Force. Once they get enough content, populating, we'll put that under the Air Force, but then again, over the umbrella of the overall Military Fresh Network. So I started this thing with with Army Fresh. And if you notice, Army Fresh is one of our biggest platforms because we started with that one first. And we have, I think, approximately like maybe 72,000 followers, or supporters, I should say, on there. I don't like to say the word followers, even though Instagram calls them that. But we started with Army Fresh and Army Fresh Fitness. And it took off so quick that we were forced to create the other three of the four color blocks. So here comes Air Force Fresh, Semper Fresh. There was Marines Fresh, but I had to switch it due to trademark issues with the Marines. The Marines, they own every trademark under the sun when it comes to this. So we had to go and trademark and trade. It is a trademarked and an official LLC. Everything that we have is trademarked and it's associated with the brand. So, and I did Air Force Fresh because someone created a fake Air Force Fresh page with the exact mission statement that I wrote for Army Fresh. So that's what kind of made us kind of commandeer all of the DoD branches. And we started the Military Fresh Network to put them all under. And then from there was the fitness platform. And then it just started spiraling, after that. So total, amongst all of the sub brands, we have about 208,000 followers now within the 5-year period, and another 24,000, almost 25,000 on Facebook. And we're on every digital platform out there, and we also have a website. So that's kind of how it started, and that's where we are today with the military side.
Well, I like that you've incorporated the various services under. Now, military is just military. That's everybody, right? So, so I'm glad that you guys went from a singular to a holistic, all-encompassing type of brand and feel. Now, it's funny. So tell me a little bit about the different things that you mentioned the fitness part. I know we have the flask, and I know we have these. So, what are the different things that you guys are producing and have out right now?
Yeah, so and I want to kind of like paint this picture so everybody understands like what it is. The Military Fresh Network is a media company. It falls under Military Fresh LLC, right? And then we also have Fresh Flask LLC, which has nothing to do with the military. It's not a Military Fresh Flask. It's not a Army Fresh Flask, although it's veteran owned and operated, which is actually female, minority, disabled, veteran owned and operated, because my wife owns that entity of the entire, conglomerate of brands, right? But the Military Fresh Network is a media company. I want to kind of bring this back a little bit to preface, what we are, because people think that we're just a shout out page or we're just on Instagram. So there's a company out there. Are you familiar with the Players Tribune? The Players Tribune was created by Derek Jeter, and it's a media company and a media outlet to highlight the stories of sports figures that are already millionaires. People are already wearing their jerseys. People already know who they are. They already have all types of media platforms to say whatever they want. And so it's almost to the point where, okay, everyone knows these sports figures. Everyone sees, and LeBron James likes to do this after he's done playing. You want to get to know the person behind the basketball uniform? Here's LeBron James and what he likes to do. So I thought about, like, what about those who serve? What about the 1% that serves their country, that pays, sometimes the ultimate sacrifice for their country and for the freedoms of the American people? Where do we find their stories, like real stories? Like where do we connect them with like-minded individuals? So if they're trying to start a business, how do we connect them with other service members that's trying to start a business, or if they're into fitness and so forth? So this is basically a digital media outlet and ecosystem for everything that you could possibly think of. You will be able to consume that on the Military Fresh Network media platform. So that's what the Military Fresh Network is. We just use heavy social media to help, promote what it is that we do. So that's kind of where we are and how we kind of evolve to different branches. So we speak about fitness. One of the things we have is the Military Fresh fitness platform, and we also have MFN, My Fit Network, which is the MFN side, where you notice it's not called Military Fresh Fitness, it's called My Fit Network, right? So we have these things called the MFN Fit Fests, right? We stripped away the name military because so many civilians that didn't serve. We did a huge event in New York City. We had over 1,000 people on a New York City Harlem block, and 50% of them were civilians. And they started off asking, hey, I'm not in the military, but I want to come. I still want to work out. Can I still come? So we had to kind of like remove the word military because we would just pigeonhole ourselves just only working out with a bunch of veterans and service members. So we had to open that up, and that's where My Fit Network came from. But we do have the Military Fresh Fitness, where it's 100% catered to the military community, because we still have to have that. And if you want some fitness, motivational or instruction type videos or anything provided by service members and veterans, that's where the Military Fresh Fitness platform comes from. All right. So another thing that we have is MFN Athleisure Wear, right? That's military and veteran owned, falls under the umbrella of the 4-color block, but that's for military and civilian as well. So you don't have a person who never served wearing MFN having trying to explain that it's a military fresh thing, but I never served. That's an athleisure and clothing line associated with the My Fit Network. It's your fit network. It's for you, to motivate you and to encourage you to be healthy in your physical fitness, mental fitness, spiritual fitness, financial fitness, anything with fitness. And that's My Fit Network that can be yours as well.
Well, I tell you, that's like an octopus right now. It's everywhere, right? You guys have your hands everywhere. And that's great because it's kind of like the financial plan. The financial plan has to have lines of income coming in, right? There's got to be streams. There's got to be streams. When you got one and that gets cut off, you're in trouble. So great thinking in putting that together and having it cater to both civilian and military, because the world is bigger than the 1%, right? Yeah. You talk about it, it's 99% the rest of the world. I always tell folks that when we separate or retire or a military release from the military, it's the 1% going back home to the 99. Yeah. It's a bigger world than that 1% world, yeah, right? So good on you guys to do that. So let's talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the hard times come. Now, I would say, for somebody that's doing it all head on, there is no income, there is nothing. It's you and your idea. You're marching forward. You're doing it, I think, a little harder, because that third shift is all you got.
Yeah.
You got a full-time job and you got another full-time job, right? So it's 2 full-time jobs with a limited amount of time and space and resource, so now you got the focus. So if I'm a military member, if I'm an entrepreneur, it doesn't even matter, military, civilian, and I'm thinking about this, what would you suggest for them to do first, to try to get their hands around this entrepreneur, my own thing type of deal?
All right. So now, and I'm taking this as if you were still in the service and you're thinking about getting out or retiring or whatever, and you're also, because you could also do this while you're in uniform as well. So one of the biggest things I've learned, because I had to go and trademark everything, and I have 2 different LLCs. So the first thing for an entrepreneur is, and just like Simon Sinek says, you start with your why, right? If and I can't tell everyone to do this, but this is me, and I'm just gonna speak what worked for me. My purpose was 100% greater than any product. So, and I said this earlier, that this was a vision given by God. So I couldn't claim that this is a vision given by God and I'm jumping in it just to make money, right? Um, Although you have to make money sometimes, because when you have an LLC and you can continue to go do taxes, if you don't, get on the positive side, you're deemed as a hobby. So I don't want to continue to do this for over 5 years, 6, 7 years as a hobby, because I have a purpose and it's just me putting a lot of time and there's not yielding any return on that investment. So, and that's what kept me going. I got to say this, because if my purpose, I felt that I had to create a platform just as strong and solid as the platform where they're highlighting sports figures. And I had to create a platform to organically tell a story of those who serve that don't necessarily get a stage to shine. Or if you're a musician, there's musicians in the military just as good as a Jay-Z that was out there, but they never had that outlet to get out there. So they ended up joining the military and just gave up on their hopes, passions, and dreams and desires because of that. So for a new entrepreneur, know your why and your purpose. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur and you're just in it trying to make $1 off a t-shirt, and it's not tied to a higher calling or your purpose, then you're probably going to run out of gas, in the first 3 or 4 years. And I just said this on another interview, that I really feel that God pulls me to this every single day, because it's connected to my purpose. I stand strong behind that. This is my purpose, right? And so that's the number one. Know your why and make sure it's connected to a purpose. That's just the spiritual energy piece of being an entrepreneur. Now we get to, the text piece, then the book piece or whatever. Know what your name is going to be. Look for several different names. The first thing you need to go do is go to the U.S. Patent and Trade Office and do a search and test to make sure no other names are out there just like you, because you can have this bright idea and someone else has the exact same thing with the same name that you do. So the first thing to do is a trademark search of your name. If that is available and there's nothing out there, then you go to GoDaddy.com and look for the domain name. If that domain name is already taken, now you have to come up with something that may not seem as legit as others, like the dot, all these other dot, whatever. The best bet is to get a .com. So when I first looked for Military Fresh Network, of course, nobody had it. Nobody had the trademark. I got the trademark. I got the domain name. I even backed it up and got the trademark for Military Fresh by itself. I got the trademark for the 4 color blocks, so nobody else can use the 4 color blocks, and got not just trademark, but also have it copyrighted. I have all my logos. Make sure that you trademark and copyright all of those. Because once you start getting that paperwork, then you have something to stand on, right? So that helps you, because when other people try to go out there and use your name, or use some type of your branding, or your whatever you use to create, they can just take that and run with it. So you make sure that you lock all of that down. So that's the first thing that I would tell everyone to do that before you really dig in to calling yourself an entrepreneur, because you have to have that foundation.
Yeah, I totally agree. One of the hardest lessons to learn is that after you've put in so much money and so much effort, that somebody else owns rights to a particular thing that you may have put in there, and then what? That's a huge deflation in your aspirations to business or a company if you don't go the legal route first,
Yeah.
and try to legitimize that and make sure that everything is locked down, as you said. A great advice there. I tell you that as I was going through in Triad Leadership Solutions, which is my LLC, which is the backing of developing the Leader Within podcast. There was some hurdles there because of that.
Yeah.
So you have to be diligent, and do a diligent search, and great advice. So you're marching down this road, and I'm sure you guys have some things up your sleeve, because not everything's coming all right. So what's on the horizon for Military Fresh Network, and all the brands that you guys carry?
Okay. So we just launched the three brands. Of course, the Military Fresh T-shirt line, the MFN athleisure gear, and Fresh Flask, all on the same day, on our 5th year anniversary, October 16th. So, and we did that, like I said, purpose before product. We did that with the Ask campaign, where I said you have to eventually monetize your business in order to be legit. So there's two things. So the first portion of that was the three companies, right? Well, it's two official companies, but two of them fall under the whole MFN, Military Fresh Network LLC. So what's coming next is we've had six to be exact, fitness and entrepreneur events, and the seventh one was going to be in San Diego, California, but of course we had to cancel it due to COVID. So once all of this kind of like loosens up a little bit, we're going to do our event, which is a Friday through Saturday night event, and everyone goes back home on Sunday. So as soon as that happens, and I'm getting ready to relocate to Tampa. So we're kind of like on the fence between Tampa and San Diego, where it was originally going to be, would be our next big thing. But what we're working on right now is we're getting ready to revamp our website, and this is all part of the plan of a media company. Right now, we've been doing a lot of things for free, right? Just putting in that time, building the platform, getting like thousands of followers. We have about a 3.5 million influencer reach, because it's not just the people that support us and follow us on those social pages, but we also have influencers that are part of the Military Fresh Network across the world. And when you roll up all of the equity that they have with all of their individual followings, I can just drop something in our chat group with over 100 influencers in there and catapult it like this to get the word out. So we also see people that tap into our uniform in our platform. They see the following, they say, hey, I got a business, can you promote this? I have this, can you promote this? I would like to do this, can I tap into your network and do this? That is fine, but we put in the legwork to build this community. So we're getting ready to do a subscription-based model on our website, right? Where I get hundreds of DMs saying, can you promote my company, right? This, can you promote my real estate company, or what have you? We're going to make it super simple, so that, like I mentioned before, that we're going to have the ecosystem where everybody comes to consume content, and also where people come to provide information. So just like developing the Leader Within podcast, if you want to catapult your podcast, we're going to drill down and put, podcasts. You hit podcasts, all of the podcasts that are provided by the veteran community, you can click on DTLW, listen to yours, click on the next one, click on the next one. You want people to relocate, people that will relocate. So we come to the ecosystem that is the Military Fresh Network, the MFN, and I'm getting ready to relocate to Korea. I wouldn't even use Korea because that's overseas. Fort Hood. You click Texas, Fort Hood, real estate. All of the real estate agents that are veterans in the veteran community, you get to see all of the listings there. But in order to get there, if you're a musicians, all the music, you get to pay for the big screen and all of the promotion and marketing, banner ads, what have you, you come to the Military Fresh Network. But the thing is, you pay a nominal fee for that to monetize, because it takes too much time and effort to create all of these promotions for everyone, and we get zero. And we just do it out of the purpose. And now imagine you tap into our 3.5 million following or whatever, and you just blow up and your shirts go off the charts because you tapped into our network and we get zero. So it's a marketing, it's a media company with a marketing arm. So therefore, this is the big piece. I served in the Army recruiting and marketing for a long time, right? A lot of military services pay these media outlets to try to tap into the American public to just, hey, I want to pay X amount to put a banner ad on your website to try to to gain people's interest to support, recommend, or consider the military. So imagine when you go, and this is when I'm going to eventually be out of the government, because I can't do this until I'm out of the government. So I build it so that I could step away and be 100% civilian entity. So now with my expertise and background, I could go to any one of the services and say, I have this big media platform with these huge events. And then you have Military Fresh t-shirts. So all of the 10K runs, we can print your own shirts for the actual military. Military Fresh will go away. The only thing you'll see is just the Military Fresh flag, or maybe a little one in the back, but we're going to be able to create those things, minority veteran owned companies. And by the way, if you need to keep your beverages fresh at the same time, we can also contract that through Sam's with the DUNS number and go ahead and bid on government contracts to keep, your beverages cold for our service members and veterans. So it's so much connected together with all of this. So it's not just an Instagram page. There's a lot behind this machine.
Yeah, machine is the right word, because I was just thinking that right there. This thing is rolling. It's got I referred it to an octopus earlier on, but that's that's really what it is. And you need to have an avenue where you can reach into these different pockets of things. I love the approach of having we'll get rid of this. You put your stuff on it. You'll have a little tag, so just a reminder, where it came from.
It's the brand.
And then you go from there. So you guys are doing so many great things. You mentioned moving to Tampa. Let me be the first one to welcome you to Central Florida. We're housed here in Orlando, so we're looking forward for you guys to come down this way and get your business situated down here, where there's a lot of military presence here, veteran and active. So you're going to see a lot of great support from this community. So welcome. Now, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, learn more, and see what you guys are all doing, and get some gear. And I'm telling you guys, folks, this is the gear to get. I love my t-shirt, but I love my flash better. So how can they get a hold of you guys, and where would you send them?
So quickest way, militaryfreshnetwork.com. That's our website. Everything, you could get to everything on that website. Email is info@militaryfreshnetwork.com. Those are the best ways to contact me. Send an email or just go to the website and you'll be able to find me.
Well, you heard it, folks. We'll have some of that information on the video and the show notes so that you can get a hold of Jimmy and his team. Jimmy, thank you for sharing your evening with me, and just doing a great job, even in still serving with the government. But what a vision, what a purpose. May God richly increase all you are doing and continue to give you success.
Thank you. And likewise to you. And I appreciate everything that you're doing out there.
Well, folks, you know how we like to close it out. Success to you.